Late August 2023. Along the eastern coastline of Spain, the Mediterranean air is warm and heavy with the end of summer. Near the city of Gandia in Valencia province, hikers move along dusty coastal trails that wind between rocky hills and small pine forests. At first glance, nothing here suggests danger. The trails are well known among travelers. Solo hikers pass through frequently, sharing brief conversations before continuing toward the next village. But during those final days of August, a quiet hiking trip between two strangers was unfolding into something far darker. One of them was a 42-year-old woman named Esther Estepa. The other was a man known online as Dinamita Montilla, a TikTok personality who documented his travels across Spain. Within days, Esther Estepa would vanish. Nearly a year later, hikers would discover scattered human remains beside a highway median near Gandia. The autopsy would confirm blunt force trauma to the skull and signs of sexual assault. And the man who had last been seen with her would turn out to have a violent history reaching back decades. Welcome to Blackscreen Briefings. Esther Estepa arrived in Alicante in early August 2023. She had chosen the region for a solo hiking trip along Spain's eastern coast. Friends and family described her as independent and adventurous. After leaving an abusive relationship, she had begun traveling more often, using long hikes and time outdoors as a way to rebuild her life. Her mother spoke with her daily. The calls were routine, brief updates about the trails, the weather, the small villages she passed along the coast. Alicante is a popular starting point for hikers moving north along the Mediterranean. The route eventually leads toward Gandia, roughly 90 kilometers away. Many hikers cover the distance in stages, stopping in small towns along the way. Sometime during the first days of her trip, Esther met a man who appeared to be doing the same thing. His name was Jose Gerardo Montilla. He was 64 years old. On TikTok, he used the name Dinamita Montilla and posted videos documenting his hiking journeys across Spain. The videos showed long walks along dusty paths, occasional conversations with other hikers, and commentary about life on the road. By 2023, he had built a modest following online. According to investigators, the two met by chance during a hiking segment near Alicante. Montilla suggested they continue part of the journey together. Over the next several days, they traveled north along the coast. Montilla continued posting on TikTok. Several videos showed the pair walking together along isolated trails. In one clip, Esther appears briefly beside him as they pass through a wooded area overlooking the sea. The post gave the impression of two hikers sharing part of the route before eventually going their separate ways. But the videos would later become some of the most important digital evidence in the investigation. By mid-August, the pair had moved farther north along the trail network leading toward Gandia. Much of the path between Alicante and Gandia passes through sparsely populated terrain. The coastal highway runs nearby, but many hiking segments wind through secluded areas far from towns. Friends later said Esther had begun to express subtle unease. She had known Montilla only a short time, but the two continued traveling together. The last confirmed contact Esther had with her family came in the final days of August. She sent a voice message to her mother. Her tone was calm, but something in the message stood out. She mentioned that the man she was traveling with made her slightly uncomfortable. She did not describe an immediate threat, but the hesitation in her voice was clear. It would be the final message her family ever received from her. According to digital records, the pair arrived near Gandia around August 25 to 28, 2023. The region around Gandia includes long stretches of hiking trails that run parallel to the coastline. Some areas pass through farmland, others through rocky hills overlooking the Mediterranean. Witnesses later reported seeing the two hikers together in a remote area outside the city. That was the last confirmed sighting of Esther Estepa alive. Soon afterward, she disappeared. At first, the silence seemed temporary. Travelers often lose signal along the coastal trail. Days can pass between calls. But Esther's mother grew concerned when several days passed without any contact. On August 29, 2023, the family reported her missing to authorities in both Seville and Gandia. At the same time, they began conducting their own search online. Esther had maintained social media accounts during her travels. By tracing her posts and the videos uploaded by Dinamita Montilla, the family reconstructed part of her final route. Montilla's TikTok videos continued appearing online. In several clips posted after Esther vanished, he appeared to be walking back along the trail. In one video, he claimed he was searching for her. He told followers she had suddenly left their hiking route, and he did not know where she had gone. For investigators, the posts raised immediate questions. Police in Valencia began questioning Montilla in September 2023. During interviews, he said the two had separated voluntarily along the trail near Gandia. He insisted Esther had simply chosen to continue alone. But his account contained inconsistencies. He could not provide a clear explanation for the moment they supposedly parted ways. Details about the time and location shifted between interviews. Despite the suspicions, investigators lacked physical evidence tying him directly to a crime. Search teams combed sections of the trail network around Gandia. Volunteers joined the effort, scanning wooded areas and roadside embankments. Weeks passed without results. For months, Esther Estepa remained a missing person. The investigation changed dramatically in February 2024. Spanish police arrested José Gerardo Montilla in Malaga for the murder of a 21-year-old man at his rural property. During that investigation, officers seized Montilla's phone and digital storage devices. What they found connected him back to the disappearance in Gandia. The devices contained photos and videos of Esther taken during their hiking trip. Some had not been posted online. The timestamps placed them together in isolated areas just days before her disappearance. Investigators also began reviewing Montilla's criminal history. The records revealed something disturbing. In the 1980s, José Gerardo Montilla had been convicted of multiple murders in Spain. He had served more than 2 decades in prison before being released in the early 2000s. By the time he began posting travel videos online, many followers had no knowledge of his past. The man presenting himself as a wandering TikTok creator had once been identified as a serial killer. With Montilla now in custody, the search around Gandia intensified. Then in June 2024, hikers made a discovery. While walking along a highway median outside the city, they noticed what appeared to be human bone fragments partially hidden among brush. Police recovered a skull and additional skeletal remains scattered across the area. Forensic analysis later confirmed the remains belonged to Esther Estepa. The skull showed evidence of blunt force trauma consistent with repeated strikes. Autopsy results also confirmed sexual assault. The manner of death was ruled homicide. The discovery transformed the case from a missing person investigation into a murder prosecution. Prosecutors charged Montilla with murder, sexual assault, and kidnapping in connection with Esther's death. By that point, he was already facing charges related to the Malaga killing. As investigators reviewed additional digital evidence, they also reopened several unsolved cases dating back to the 1980s. Montilla remained in custody awaiting trial. By early 2026, the case had gained international attention following the release of a Netflix documentary titled The TikTok Killer. The documentary examined how a man with a violent criminal past had managed to reinvent himself online and travel freely for years. Social media discussions about the case spread rapidly. The hashtag referencing the TikTok killer generated hundreds of millions of views across platforms. But for Esther's family, the attention carried a different purpose. Her sister later said, "We had to become detectives ourselves because the system failed initially." The family had played a crucial role in identifying Montilla through his own online videos. They later launched a campaign focused on missing persons awareness and safety for solo travelers. Their advocacy also led to the creation of a safety initiative known as Esther's Trail, promoting awareness for hikers across Spain. As of 2026, José Gerardo Montilla remains in prison awaiting trial for Esther Estepa's murder. If convicted, he could face life imprisonment under Spanish law. But several questions remain unresolved. Investigators still do not know the exact moment or location where Esther was attacked. The scattered remains made it difficult to reconstruct the full sequence of events. Another question concerns motive. Was Esther deliberately targeted, or did the violence emerge opportunistically during the hike? Authorities are also examining whether Montilla may have committed other crimes during the years he spent traveling across Spain while documenting his journeys online. For many observers, the case highlights a disturbing reality. In the age of social media, a carefully curated online identity can conceal almost anything, even a violent past. The story of Esther Estepa is drawn from reporting by País, the Olive Press, Biography.com, A&E, and Spanish National Court records between 2024 and 2026. It remains an ongoing case within the Spanish judicial system. I'm your narrator. Until the next briefing.